Louis DiNapoli.
Good evening. I'd also like to speak about the band. My son Jimmy is a senior trumpet section leader at Freehold Township High School Marching Band. I'd like to talk briefly about the budget cuts as they are affecting the band. We've lived in Freehold since 1993. My wife and I have an older son, Tom, who spent 4 years as a band member at Freehold Township High School. Tom went on to Dartmouth College playing clarinet in the Dartmouth Symphony and the Wind Ensemble until his graduation this past spring. I cannot imagine what Tom's or my son Jim's high school experience would be like without their music, but I do know that it would not have been anywhere as rewarding. I also don't know that they would have been as successful academically. The statistics are compelling. I understand that with this year's cuts, marching bands are not going to be performing at away games, and that additional events such as parades and concerts are also in question. I'm speaking as a concerned parent, but I know that there are many other parents and students who share the same opinions as I do. Granted, the budget cuts, and we spoke about them tonight, have led to outright disbanding of activities. And so perhaps I should be grateful that the band was not cut further. However, Freehold Township is one of the largest student activities with 108 students currently practicing for this fall's show and continuing to participate even if it's only on a half schedule. As Mike pointed out before, it's too late for our fundraising to take place. And if that is the decision that is going to be, that we'll have to live with. Those who know me know that I have a strong interest in two things: sports and music. I've been a rec coach in town for 15 years, and after having watched almost 8 years of band performances, that I can tell you that our band members are every bit as dedicated as our athletes. They were out there 8 hours a day last week, just as our football team was, and had numerous sectional practices during the summer in order to make this year's show a success. All of you here know that music participation is strongly correlated to our children's later success. Music teaches kids the same kind of discipline that sports do, and it is every bit a team activity of sport as I've ever coached or played. Simply put, this year's cuts have halved the band's schedule. Imagine our football, basketball, or baseball team only being able to play half their games. It would put a serious damper on their motivation to train, prepare mentally, and perform on the field, and the students would no doubt take it as a sign that our school leadership had significantly less regard for their talent, hard work, and performance. So the question I'm respectfully asking is this: why can we not find a few $1,000s in this year's $175 million budget to accommodate these away games? The expense involved is so minor when compared to the overall budget, I find it hard to envision that we cannot find it somewhere. Thank you very much.
Marcia Berg and Kelly.
Kelly's not here.
Please be comfortable if you'd rather sit, please. It's not necessary to stand.
I'm Marcia Berg, 52 Cheryl Lane in Allenton. And I'm here to talk about the winter track program. One thing that I heard you say that I wanted to refute a little bit is winter track, in my opinion, cannot be considered just an extension of the spring track program. I realize they're related and a lot of the athletes go forward to the spring track program, but the events are different enough so that they have separate championships and separate winners. You don't see the same winners in winter track that you see in spring. So to consider them same sport is incorrect. The points that I wanted to make about the winter track program is that the winter track season is a proving ground for the seniors who are trying to secure positions in college on their track teams and to get athletic scholarships. The coaches from 3 colleges have told my daughter that they need to see her winter track performance. The Syracuse coach, for example, told her that's when he does his recruiting, not in the spring. It's too late, it's too late. Okay, my daughter's a senior, and I'm going to use her as an example, but she's one of many. She spent the first 3 years of high school working hard to become the best she can be in her sport. So she didn't do other sports in the winter, she did track. She was last year's district, county, and short conference champion for 55 hurdles. She expected to win the sectionals, but she stumbled over a hurdle and was disqualified and didn't get to go to the states. So senior year is her last chance to defend her titles and to win the states, or the sectionals, and to compete in the states. Okay, so if you take that chance away from her, that chance is lost to her forever. Okay, and if sports are to be cut, it seems to me that it would make more sense. I don't want any sports to be cut. I don't want anything to be cut. But just like you, I understand that you only have so much money to go around. I would think it would make a lot more sense to do something like cutting all freshman sports and spreading it among all sports and not just one. It would probably save more money than cutting just one sport. It would penalize not just one set of athletes, but athletes across the board. It would not send the message to track athletes that they're not as important as football, soccer, swimming, basketball, and other athletes. Freshmen can compete in JV and varsity sports if there are no freshman level sports, so they're not excluded from participation if there's no freshman sport. Whereas a senior cannot participate in JV sports or freshman sports, and if their varsity sport is cut, they are completely excluded from the winter season. They would no longer qualify. They haven't trained for other sports. They would not make the basketball varsity team, for example, most likely. Freshmen are also not in a position to lose scholarships and college admissions if the freshman sport is cut. Seniors who qualify to participate on a college team or who might be given an athletic scholarship based on the skills they spent their years developing stand to lose everything they worked so hard for if you cut their varsity sport during their senior year. This is especially true for winter track, where most athletes progress and perform their best during their senior year, and that's a fact. You look at any of their records and you will see them improving every single year. That's basically all I had to say about track. I did have a couple things that came to mind while you were talking about the budget. And I was wondering, there are other sports that don't start in the fall. There's basketball, swimming, baseball. I'm not sure what they all are. But instead of homing in on track, which means more of a pay-for-play for for each athlete, why not look at all of the sports that don't start in the fall, lump them all together, and instead of cutting the coaches and charging the athletes for just one sport, lump it together and spread the wealth. It would be less money for each student that would have to be paid. I do appreciate that you are considering the pay-for-play, though, rather than just cutting the sport without any further consideration, because, as was said by one other parent here, it is a crisis that this sport is being cut. Thank you.